What is up, everybody? DanDanTheFireman here. We're going to be going over some motorcycle close calls in this video, and it's going to be a long form video, but we're going to be learning quite a bit from this. I will be having timestamps in the description and in the first comment. I've been listening to your guys' constructive criticism, and we're going to make these videos better so we can learn from them. So first and foremost, if you like these types of videos, make sure you hit that join button. There's a join button right next to the subscribe button. That is for the YouTube memberships. It helps support the channel because my first video of this and a lot of my other videos keep getting demonetized because we're talking about close calls, accidents, but this is an educational type thing. So YouTube, come on now. All right, so we have this first one here. Let's go ahead and watch it, and then after we watch the full one, I'll be going over it. Out. So what we just witnessed was a motorcyclist passing all these other motorcyclists and all these cars at a high rate of speed with a passenger on them with no gear at night, so limited visibility. Yes, so even a motorcyclist couldn't tell when another motorcyclist was speeding. Okay, that's very important to remember, is that this motorcyclist was speeding past other motorcyclists and they couldn't see them in their mirrors. Okay, we're going to start seeing that in some other videos where the motorcyclist is pissed because other cars cannot see them when they're speeding. All right, so right here we have a group of riders. Now they're all side by side, and that can play an issue with people wanting to pass, so maybe that's why this guy did this. But remember, at nighttime, we have very low visibility. Low visibility, watch out. So he's passing everybody on the left. He was probably just going too fast, didn't realize the turn was coming up, and is barely making this turn. And it's a lot harder when you have a passenger because now all your inputs are delayed and a little bit slowed. So you're going to have to turn harder, brake harder, accelerate. It's going to take a lot longer to accelerate, all these different things. So you should really be careful when you're riding with a passenger. They are passing... That person and their passenger is passing a group of other motorcycle riders, so definitely not part of the group, and you really got to watch out for that. Yep, happens all the time. Alright, so we have a downhill residential neighborhood. Every single one of these driveways is considered an intersection. Always watch out for kids, pedestrians, cars, anything and everything coming out of that driveway possibly hitting you. So I like the fact that he's in lane position 1. Lane position 2 is right here. Lane position 3 is closer to these hazards. So lane position 1 also gives you the best visibility for any blind intersections coming up, which is what happens here. There's a blind intersection that comes up. There's the car, there's the hazard. So we have a new hazard now. We got to focus on this hazard until we get past it, and then we have another hazard that we got to focus on. So right here, we see this guy pull out. And the reason why he pulled out that far is not to scare you, not to cause you to panic, is because he's opening up the view. We talk about that in the BRC1 and the MSF, is opening up the view is how you're able to see past a blind turn. So if you're supposed to stop, so we're going to go over here real quick. So you're supposed to stop, and there's the line right there. You're supposed to stop at that line, and for most places, it's actually stopping right at the stop sign. You're not supposed to pass the stop sign. So when you stop, you fully stop, what you do after that is you start to creep forward and opening up the view so you can see around that blind turn, around all that stuff for other hazards coming up. So when we go back to this part right here, he did all 3 steps. He stopped, crept up, opened up the view all in one time. Okay, that's not what you're supposed to do, and will cause a panic for drivers that like this motorcyclist. One thing that will happen in a lot of my crash videos on my live streams is that people will see this type of stuff, and then they will grab that fistful of front brake and dump their bike. It causes a panic. It truly does induce panic and anxiety in motorists if you do this kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and lessen that and actually stop and then creep up. Don't just gun it until it's like, oh, well, there's somebody there, so I must stop. Let's not do that. As a motorcyclist, if you see a car starting to do this, like so blind turn right now, We got a couple frames. Boom, I start seeing that movement, that car. It's something that stands out in your peripheral, you know, like a movement. Oh, what's that? That's what you need to do with these cars. Okay, you see a little bit of movement. Let's focus on that. Okay, I see them now. Okay, rolling off the throttle. I'm going to roll off the throttle so I can slow down a little bit. Engine braking is going to help out. I'm not going to let go of the throttle. I'm just going to roll off the throttle just a little bit. I'm going to start covering that front brake and that clutch. I am prepared. I am ready to stop if I have to. And if I have to, I'm going to remove my fingers off the clutch, remove my finger off the front brake, you know, hovering it, and get my hands fully on those handlebars and do evasive maneuvers if I absolutely have to. So at this point, I've already slowed down a little bit because I've rolled off the throttle, and now I see that he actually is stopped. So I'm going to go ahead and scoot on over since I see that there's nobody on this side. Scoot on over just a little bit, just in case, and then go ahead and accelerate out of here. I want to get away from this hazard. Would not do that. Do not do that, because now he's behind you, and, well, first of all, you're a jerk if you do that, but he's behind you now, and you just created a connection with that driver. A negative connection. Who knows what he's going to do with that? All right, so this is a very unique type of roadway here. We have motorists on the right, motorists on the left going the opposite direction. The center line, I think that's a median. Is somebody can correct me if I'm wrong here. I had somebody help me out with some weird roadways out in other countries. This is not something I'm too familiar with, but the one thing that I can take away from this and that I am familiar with is lane filtering, lane splitting, because I see that all the time. I've actually practiced a little bit of it in California. I'm not an expert at it, but I do know that, you know, with speed and with going next to vehicles, it creates massive hazards. So the one thing that we really got to watch out for when it comes to lane filtering or lane splitting is to reduce our speed. We don't want to go anything over 5 to 10 miles per hour over the flow of traffic, because if we start increasing our speed more and more and more, that doesn't let them know where we are in space and time. That doesn't let them know how fast we are. We got one headlight and then two tires side by side. So it's like it's not much to go off of, and they can't judge our distance, they can't judge our speed, they can't judge where we are. So they start making decisions on uneducated guesses, and they're assuming we're farther than we really are. So that's why we need to slow down our speed. Also, we need to slow down our speed so that we have a better reaction time. We have more of a distance, okay, reaction distance. So the further you can see an object and react to, the better. And if we slow down, we can see the object way ahead of time, but we still have plenty of time to get there. That's the whole point of that. Now, if we're hauling butt and it's way out there and we're hauling butt and then we barely see it at the last second, that's not good enough. Or if something pops out in front of us and we're going really fast, we don't have any reaction time. We don't have any stopping distance, nothing. But if something juts out in front of us and we're going at a relatively slow speed or within traffic, we have a better chance. So right here, he's going pretty fast. We have all these vehicles stopped on the side of the road right here. There's a reason why they're stopped, whether it's just backed up all the way or somebody stopped up front to let pedestrians through. Now, why would we want to think that there could be pedestrians or even an obstacle in the way? Because remember, pedestrians are obstacles. They really are. They're not ones we should run over, but they're obstacles. Let's go back just a little bit. You see this right here? There's a "don't do this" sign. That's what I call those. Don't do this sign. And it says, do not turn right. How can we turn right? It's grass. There's grass on the left. There's grass on the right. What do you mean turn? Oh, there must be some form of an intersection. One where motorists aren't supposed to go. So who can go? I don't know. There's an intersection. Intersections, danger. I don't know if it's intersection for pedestrians, bicyclists, motorcyclists, skateboarders, parkourers. I don't know. Okay, we got to figure this out. We also have a little turn lane here. Oh, there's pedestrians right there. I see a bright yellow shirt with people on bikes. We should be slowing down. We should not be like, oh, well, they might make it. Going too fast for the speed. Going too fast for the speed in that condition. All right, let's jump into this one. Oh! Whoa, whoa, whoa!
That guy was going so fast, man.
All right, I treat every single parking lot like it's multiple intersections. We have an intersection right here. We have an intersection where that car is coming out. We have an intersection right here. We're consistently applying intersection rules in a parking lot. This is something that you should really start thinking about. Also, I heard him say, what the F, but it wasn't him. It was his passenger. He has a passenger on his bike. So acceleration, deceleration, turning are delayed, slowed, because you need to have gentler inputs, okay? So remember that. I really want to see, I can't because the mirrors aren't showing. I want to see if that driver just gunned it to that spot to stop. I know plenty of drivers that will go full speed and then there's a stop sign, boom, stop. There's no gradual decrease in speed and then stopping. There's none of that. And I think that's maybe what happened here, but we can't assume that. So it could have that could have happened, or he wasn't paying attention, was just going to gun it and probably run into the building. I don't know. A bunch of different situations here. We got to watch out for that. So acceleration. So he accelerated out of that. He has a passenger. Who knows? Maybe he doesn't have a sissy bar on that cruiser of his. So she could have fell back if she's not paying attention either. So this is where you need to tell your passengers, hey, if there's a situation, I want you to constantly be looking out. And there could be a situation within a split second. I need you to hold on. I need you to be stable on this bike almost at all times. You need to let me know when you're going to be shifting weight. You need to let me know if you're going to be messing around. That way I know for a fact, like I'm in a bad spot. I got to be extra careful. In this situation, it's like, okay, I need you to hold on. And I would tell her that. Hold on, just in case something happens in this parking lot. We're in a hazard perception, hazard mode. And this is something that you could definitely talk to your passenger about. But if you take a quick look, let's go back just a little bit. So his focus is on this car. Anybody see the van in front of him? Anybody see that van? So we're going straight. We have a van with the headlights shining right at us. And he's moving. That van and then this car are hazards in this area. They're hazards in this area. So he's accelerated to dodge, but that van right there moved out of the way, luckily. That could have been a lot worse because he's accelerating really hard. You hear the tires squealing, and he's turning the handlebars. So you could lose traction and have that rear tire fishtail from you and just kind of moving around. You got to be careful with that.
That guy was going so fast, man.
Slow down. There it is. All right, so we have a blind turn around here. This has traffic that flows both ways through this tunnel. It's a very narrow tunnel. So if you're going to go into it when there's enough room, or when it's clear, actually. Not if it's enough room, so don't try to lane filter here. When it's clear, and then get out of there. Go, go, go. And that's what he does here. Good, we just passed that hazard. Now we got to get ready for the next hazard. The next hazard can present itself in a bad spot to where our speed is now putting us in a bad spot. So let's slow down, getting ready for the next hazard. I don't know what the speed limit is here, but it's very congested. This is one of those situations where I'm just taking it nice and easy. I don't know if this car wanted to turn left, maybe last second to come in here. I don't know if any cars want to come in through this blind turn right here. We don't really know. So this is where speeding up is not a good option. Boom, there's the car right there. It's behind the play button right there. The car peeked itself out. This is a lot like that downhill video we just watched. Be very careful. This one, he actually decided to go. So at an increased speed, if we just kept increasing our speed, we're going to T-bone this person. So what we have to do to not T-bone this person is slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. You hear him downshifting, you hear him slowing down. That's what's really saved him in this situation. Honking the horn didn't really save him. But here's the thing. When you apply the horn or you get up next to somebody and you start making a ruckus, you're going to cause a panic. Okay, when you cause a panic, people will either brake, which we see a lot in motorcyclists, is that they brake and then drop the bike, or you're going to have a car just going to stop. If the car just stops and you are at this point and you honk the horn and he stops, boom, you just got hit. Or, well, you hit him. So honking the horn is not necessarily the best bet. The best bet in this situation is to slow down and then evaluate your escape paths if you possibly can. And remember, escape path is behind you also. So applying the brakes, like just applying the brakes, stopping is an escape. So you can also apply the brakes, slow down, and then release the brakes and then swerve. That's also an option, or you can just straight up swerve. Swerving to the left will put you in the path of the driver. Swerving to the right will not put you in the path of the driver, because who knows? Maybe he stops right here. We don't know. In the situation split second, you have no clue. So you need to get yourself away from hazards. Remember, they're proximity mines, they're landmines. Get away from them. Okay. Ooh. All right, so right here, first and foremost, we know that there's an intersection coming up. How do we know that there's an intersection coming up? Well, there's two signs. We have a sign, we have everything to tell us that something is about to come up. Yellow, hazards, everything. It's a hazard. Intersections are hazards. So now that we know that, we're going into a situation, we're getting ready. Don't know why he honked at that person. Brake lights, another clue. There's our clue. Something's happening. Either they're stopping or I don't know. But I know there was a cross intersection here, so maybe it's a stop sign. Maybe it's something like that. Let's keep watching. We got the air horn from a fire truck. Ooh, something bad's happening. I see a truck right here turning in front of a fire truck, and they're honking the horn. Trust me, engineers on fire trucks do not honk the horns at civilians unless it's absolutely needed to, because we don't want complaints. You don't want complaints. You only honk the horn if it's absolutely needed and if you're justified. And sometimes it's not just the engineers, the captains will actually honk the horn, and it looks like the driver, but it's actually the passenger honking the horn. It's pretty funny. Okay. So the fire truck was coming in from this direction. Let's see. Okay, so right there, I see a stop sign, and stop sign. So 3 stop sign. Is it a 4-way stop? Somehow it's not a 4-way stop. It looks like it's a 3-way stop. So why would the fire truck be honking? Quite possibly it was the fire truck's turn to go, and this truck just went. So that can happen if you're going as a motorcyclist and they just go. So that's why let's take away from that we need to be very cautious. Even on 3-way stops, we have the right of way, but at the end of the day, that truck is bigger than us. We're going to crush our bodies into it. So let's kind of watch out. Let's watch out on intersections. That's a good example of what we should really watch out for. Still a lot of traffic. Oh. Okay, good job. Good job. Another one. So right here we have a wet road, and it was raining when we saw the playthrough, so we have water going on to the action camera, which, you know, it's going to blur up the camera, but it's also going to blur your face. So if you have water on your face shield, it's actually going to blur your vision, which is not good. And then on top of that, we have motorists with their vision blurred with the water on the windshield, especially if they don't have windshield wipers, or they're really bad. So that's not good. So right here we got lots of traction, so be careful with that. And if you noticed, we also don't have a shoulder anymore. It's not just a simple dirt, grass, or whatever it is shoulder. We have water runoff, and it's actually tearing into the gravel, causing like a mini stream, which can cause a bump if you ever have to go off the asphalt onto gravel for evasive maneuver. It's going to bump you, so be prepared for that type of obstacle. This is a dangerous situation, guys. Okay, so you can tell he saw it a little while ago. He saw the hazard coming up. There's only real two or three options here, and some of them are not good. So let's say three options. So a third option is, the first option is to come over here into this oncoming traffic as an escape path. Well, it's not a good option because you're going to get hit by this vehicle. Another option you could do is apply the brakes. So applying the brakes, you might skid because it's wet, but you remember, trust your tires, so it probably won't skid if you made sure his tire pressure and his tires are in good condition. But if you stop in the road, what's going to happen? You got a van or the bus still coming, so you can possibly get hit. So that's still not a good option. Really, the only option you can is to move to the left. The other option is to accelerate, but why accelerate in this situation? It's not called for. But moving over to the left, either all the way off or off to the little bit of amount. So what he chose was a little bit of the amount of to the left, which is fine, but here's the thing is, once if that bus got too close to the other cars on the other side, or the other cars kind of pushed him, almost hitting the bus, and the bus decided to move over, you're the end result, and you're going to fall or get crushed underneath this rear tire. So he was able to evade that situation right there. So he saw number two. Now this one, he's got to make the same kind of decision. Either go to the left, stop, accelerate, or turn, or go right. He's going to go left again. But this time he recognized that there's absolutely no road left for him to be on. So he decides to go off of the pavement. When you go off the pavement, just realize that you're going from a lot more traction, or not a lot more traction, you're going with, let's say, 70% traction because it's diminished because of the rain, to possibly 20 to 30% traction. It's enough traction to keep your bike upright if you do it properly, but you're going from a lot more traction to a lot less traction. Especially with a big bump, you can't tell if this is a deep puddle. You can't tell if this is a deep puddle or not. So pick an area that you can actually see ground. And that's what this dark spot is, and then see how he does it. He goes to this spot right here. What he did is pull in the clutch, turned into it, straightened up, and right now he's holding in the clutch or possibly popped it into neutral. The reason why you want to do that is because when you are riding on asphalt, you have that traction, so your tire that's rotating because it's got power to that rear wheel, it's traction, it's grabbing that ground and it's propelling you forward. The moment you go from that amount of traction to barely any, if not none, and it still has the same amount of power to that rear wheel, it could slide. Until it grabs, it's going to slide until it grabs traction. So what you do is when you go from asphalt to gravel is that you pull in the clutch, so that way you remove power from that rear wheel, and then as soon as you get onto the gravel, you start releasing it towards that friction zone. Okay, so you pull it all the way in, start releasing it towards that friction zone while you're playing with the throttle control, so you have to marry those things up. And then you find the traction, the RPM, the tire power, all that stuff you need for the gravel, and you'll feel it, and then you can continue on going. But you need to make those transitions. And same applies to ice in the road, snow in the road, all those different things. Go over it with your clutch pulled in, if you can, if it's a straight line, and do your absolute best with that. Keeps happening.
We're just flying like no other.
He's relaxing. That's good. That's good. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa.
That was close.
It was close.
Oh man, that was scary.
All right. Okay, so we're going to go over this real quick, and he says we are flying through this. That means this is his rider with him. They're staggered. It's not the best staggering. Personally, I would have the person up front go more towards the left. That way they present themselves better to oncoming traffic, and then this rider will be off to the side. But in this situation, it's fine. That's not what we're critiquing here. We're critiquing the fact that he almost ran into a car turning left in front of him. Typically, motorcyclists would be like, well, the car turned left in front of me. It's their fault, their fault, their fault, their fault. Dumb, dumb, dumb. But let's go over this and let's figure out how we could have prevented even that panic and that comment, that whole situation. How can we prevent that? And that's what we're doing here.
We're just flying like no other. Yeah.
And some people are going to say, well, why is he doing this? Why is he moving around like this? That's dumb. No, actually, he's relaxing. He's playing with his bike. This is one of the beauties of having your bike. And also, when you're moving like this, you're actually presenting yourself in a very good situation. Like I've talked about, is that if you're just sitting still, nobody can see you. If I'm like Drax the Destroyer, nobody can see me right now. But if I'm moving, you can see me, right? If I'm sitting still, camouflaged within the background of all the other headlights in the road, you can't see me. But all of a sudden you start seeing this. Yeah. So presentation, presenting himself. He might be doing that indirectly. He's probably just having fun. But that is something you could do. And I do that before almost all intersections.
Oh, yeah.
He's playing. So how did all of a sudden it became yellow? Well, let's go back. It's green. Let's see, the moment I see green way over here. So I'm pretty far away and it's been green for a little bit. That is a stagnant green light. And my reaction to those is that it's going to turn yellow. It's going to turn red very soon. So I need to relax. I need to kind of get ready for this. I need to be very cautious. So if you see a green light that's been going on for a while, be prepared to slow down and possibly stop. Still green. And it turned yellow right now. This motorcyclist is well enough away. So if he was prepared for that green to turn yellow, boom, apply the brakes, stop. End of day. No problem, no close call, nothing. That's the end of it. This motorcyclist is definitely far away enough to where it's like, oh, well, I can just stop anyways, even if I wasn't paying attention. So he got lucky in this situation. But then we start watching this. He still goes. Now we have brake lights because of car, right? Because a car is right there. The car is just trying to get out of the intersection because it just turned yellow. And this motorcyclist had plenty of time to stop. That's what the car driver thought he was going to do, is stop. Because he had so much time to stop, he assumed. So he decided to go. And when he decided to go, he's going to just keep going. Turned red. Barely into the intersection when it turned red. Okay, technically, that's not running a red light. But is it safe? No. That was a swerve. That was a swerve. So we have brake lights right here. Let's see. When did he first apply the brakes? Okay. He was going to go through it. He was going to go through it without any type of brake lights. He did not slow down before the intersection unless he did some engine braking. But this is the moment that there's brake lights. So he's applying the brakes. This could be the ABS kicking on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. At this point, you're not going to stop in time. So what he does is he's prepared. You see his body positioning. He's prepared to do an emergency maneuver, which is a swerve to the left. So it was a good choice to go left, not right. But then he released the brakes. So he released the brakes and did it. That is what you want to do. You do not want to swerve and brake at the same time. We actually see that in the live streams all the time. People dumping the brakes because of panic braking while trying to swerve or trying to turn. So if you would like to see these things live and actually have commentary and talk with me while I'm doing these live streams, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell button. I live stream every single week and actually did one earlier today.
That was close.
Yep. I already don't like this one. Okay.
What the f? Seriously?
Come on.
Jump. God, man, people cannot freaking drive. I swear to God.
What is he doing? All right off the bat, this scene shows him accelerating and about to pass. Okay, so his buddy's way up here. This is a very reckless two-person crew. Maybe there's a third or fourth that are way behind or way up front. I don't know, but this is very reckless. This is getting from point A to point B as fast as possible and to have that dopamine adrenaline rush. That's what this is. This at no point is this trying to get through traffic and be safe. So this is the opposite what I teach. So if you're doing this stuff, let's scale it back. Let's learn a little bit. And this is why you shouldn't do it. So we're going to go over why you shouldn't be doing this stuff. So right here, first and foremost, he's hauling ass. He's trying to keep up with his buddy. Peer pressure and ego are going to make you have so many mistakes, a ton of mistakes. You're going to be following too close. You're going to be merging the wrong way. You're going to be speeding like crazy, which will make it to where other cars cannot judge where you are in space-time. They can't tell how fast you're going because you have that, like I said, that single headlight and then two tires, but they're front to back. So you look like a walking headlight. You look like a car that could possibly be far away. And they can't tell, so they're going to make decisions based off of that. So right here, immediately we have him accelerating super, super fast, trying to catch up to his buddy. That's a no-go already. All over the place, reckless driving, definitely speeding, not doing what he's supposed to be doing. Don't do this. You see how it was a jump cut and he's going like woo, like getting amped up because something almost happened. This is that oh crap moment. Well, they must have failed at playing Tetris because you're not supposed to put a block on top of the block when you can actually make it around. Okay, so what happened here is this guy probably picked a really bad line and got caught up by two cars and can't make it to the right, can't make it to the left, has to slow down, but since he's at a high rate of speed, he has to really slow down, and now the person behind him, which is this guy with the camera, has to slow down even more. That is not what we want to be doing out on the interstate or out on the road. We just put ourselves in that hazard. So what you need to do here is obviously let's not speed at all and let's actually follow traffic controls. But I'm going to pick apart this one and I'm going to tell you like what he shouldn't be doing. Right here, speeding, had to come up to this. So now his only escape path is all the way across multiple lanes to this open lane, or he can lane filter, or he can go onto the shoulder, which actually looks pretty torn up, or slow down. He definitely can't accelerate because he's going to hit the car. Those are his options right here, and that doesn't give a lot of options to this motorcycle rider either. So let's continue on with this. But yeah, the jump cut makes me believe that this was a rider's fault, but they didn't want to show it. There's another jump cut to the next one, Independence Boulevard. If anybody around here knows where that is, chime in the chat. So you see how he's doing head checks. Okay, and then here's the next hazard. We have a car coming into our lane. So let's go back just a little bit. So there's the head check. There's the original car. They both want to get into this lane. They're both side by side. This car is passing the motorcyclist. So they assume, they see the motorcyclist. They assume, hey, this is an open lane. I'm going to move into this lane right here, but I can't do it right now. I'm going to do it a little bit later. Fine. These motorcyclists want to get out of behind this vehicle because it slowed them down. They are on this dopamine adrenaline rush. So let's get out of here. Let's get into an open lane and gun it again. So right now, this motorcyclist is going to make that decision. Ego, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Ego is going to play a role in this. This guy has his hand on his hips. He's like, I got to wait now. I got to wait. That's fine because that's what you're supposed to do. So right here we have this guy going to the left lane. Very quick, very high rate of speed, accelerated through. Now we have this car wanting to go in that lane too. We don't know that yet as the motorcyclist. You see him crossing or getting close. So we're going to use these cracks in the concrete right here, you can kind of see it as a baseline. He's starting to creep up to that baseline. That is an indication that, uh-oh, he's coming into my lane. We have brake lights here, everyone. There's congestion right here, but we're accelerating. We're going crazy.
What the f?
So applying the clutch to rev bomb is not going to do any good, okay? You both went into the same spot. You're just as at fault as the other driver, okay? But it's our job as motorcyclists to predict that right there. So he actually merged within their blind spot. So you see, this is the blind spot right here. He merged within the blind spot of the other driver. He's in their blind spot. How's the driver supposed to see him? Once again, we are focused on this, but this rider is not focused on blind spots. This focuses on the adrenaline dump and the dopamine rush. That's what he's focused on. So he's not thinking about safety. He's not thinking about blind spots. He's thinking about speed, 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 fun, fun, fun. That's fine. That's fine. But these are the risks you're putting yourself in. And you wonder why there's so many motorcycle accidents and fatalities. So rev bombing, what happens there is you have to pull in the clutch, remove power from the rear wheel, and then use the throttle to make the RPMs go up. That's what you're doing. But is that doing anything for your primary controls and so you can escape if you absolutely have to? No, you just remove power to your bike. To do what? Not much.
What the f? Seriously?
And you see how he accelerated just there to maintain his speed, so he slowed down and then got even closer to the car. He is right behind this car. Wonder if that car brake checked him, because he just pissed him off, right? Who knows? Maybe he pissed off this Honda driver. So I'm going to brake check this motorcyclist. Screw him. And what do most motorcyclists do in a panic situation like this? Fistful front brake, try to turn, boom, dump. But we're going like 70 miles an hour now. Don't get behind this driver. Oh, there's my buddy. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? One's if this motorcyclist, the number 5 here, decided that he had to apply the brakes really hard because there's a car that did the same thing to him, or that there's an obstacle in the road. But we have right here, we have this cruiser rider getting pissed off at this driver, not looking where he's supposed to go, and boom, right there. You see what I mean? Let's not focus on what doesn't need to be focused on. Oh, look, now we're speeding.
People cannot freaking drive.
We're speeding. Look at this. Look at this. You're telling me that it's other people? You're telling me it's other people. Look at you guys. Typical. It happens. Okay. Whoa. What are you doing?
Hey man, you gotta look.
All right, let's move me over here so we can see this hazard. I think we'll just leave me there from now on. Make sure you hit this little button right here. It's a subscribe button. Let's do it. All right. So we have a car that's going to come out from over here. This is a big concern for a lot of us because this is cars turning left in front of us is a massive, massive killer of motorcyclists. So there's the car. There's the car. Slow down or speed up. Get out of there. Evasive maneuvers. At no point did this guy do accelerate, decelerate, move left or right. Nothing. What he did was he took his eyes off of what's in front of him, and then he also applied the horn, which took his fingers off of one of his primary controls, which is clutch and handlebars. So that is a big thing right there. And then this is another big thing, and this is something that I don't want you guys ever to do. He literally just stopped another vehicle, which is a car, which can run your ass over. He just stopped in front of this vehicle. and then shuts off his bike, applies the side stand, turns off the side stand, stares at the other driver. If I am that driver and I see somebody stop right in front of me, turn off their engine, side stand down, I think there's a confrontation about to happen. I think this guy's about to get off his bike. I am being prepared to defend myself and my family. You don't know what I have in my car. So as a motorcyclist getting pissed off, do not do this. You don't know what this guy has that he's going to defend himself with. Don't do that. Just continue on with your day.
Man, you gotta look.
He even says sorry. I apologize. I heard that. Got Master Chief over here. Watch the biker ahead. Okay. Okay. Oh, there's another one. Oh. So we got John 117 right here riding his motorcycle, and no gloves, so he doesn't have all the gear. It's not going to help him mitigate any type of crashes. He's going 91, I'm going to assume, kilometers per hour. What is that? He's going 56 miles per hour, roughly, but he's definitely going well above the rest of traffic. See how fast he passed that vehicle? So we're going to watch the biker ahead. This biker did not see him at all. You want to know why? We have this car going this way, blocking line of sight. So as the motorcyclist, Master Chief over here going 102 kilometers per hour, he can see the motorcyclist, kind of, especially after this vehicle moves out of the way, but the motorcyclist is not going to see him. He's not 100% focused on his mirrors. You know, maybe he's not 90% focused and 10% focused this way. No, he's looking forward. So to assume that this driver is going to or this motorcyclist is going to see you when you're going above everybody else, I don't think so, man. Luckily got out of that situation. So he's saying use mirrors. It's not going to help you. The mirrors weren't going to do anything. Mirrors weren't going to do anything at all. We just saw in the first video with the nighttime riding, that dude hauling ass and almost crashing into the guardrail, passing all those other motorcyclists. Is that guy saying at the same time, hey, assholes, use your mirror? Is he telling all those motorcyclists, the ones he's passing up, almost crashing, saying, use your mirrors? No. He was a jerk for passing. So now you're in this situation. You're that jerk. Then we got this one with the kids. So this is a blind turn right here. This is a blind turn. And he says, please don't leave kids alone. Kids are going to dart out. They see something shiny. They're going to do something. This kid's probably 3 or 4 years old. Okay, I see legs right here. And I see pedestrians. I need to slow down. Slow down. If you ever see a kid on a sidewalk, be careful. Be cautious. They do dumb things. Okay. All right, so we have multiple intersections here. And when I say multiple intersections, I mean this right here. So we have a pedestrian crosswalk. That is an intersection, everybody. I need you guys to understand that. Okay, it's not an intersection for motorists. It's an intersection for people to enter our roadway, which become obstacles now that we can crash into, or if we stop, somebody can crash into us. So this is where we have to be extra careful on this. So this is the moment. And that's the moment. that the person decided to edit in his beeping, and then also this is the part where he actually realized he needs to start applying the horn or whatever it is he felt like he needed to do. But this is where he saw. He searched, he evaluated, and then he executed a horn very quickly. So he searched, evaluated, executed a horn. He searched, saw these people in the crosswalk, evaluated if they're a hazard or not, and he decided to apply the horn because he thought they were a hazard, and that is his solution for that hazard. Okay, fine, perfectly fine. Do what you need to do. My concern in this situation is that the people behind me aren't going to see these pedestrians. So if I apply the brakes and they don't see why I'm applying the brakes, or they don't even see me applying the brakes, I'm scared of getting hit. So in this situation, I'm going to start rolling off the throttle, apply a little bit of the brake pressure so that it flashes my lights, so you can tap that rear brake just a little bit, a little tippity tap tap, and it'll push your brake lights on, and that will hopefully let the people know behind you that something's happening. They don't care. They don't care. These pedestrians don't care. This situation now is like, I need to get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. That's my concern. I need to get out of here. So now that they're out of my way, especially when they get on the sidewalk, perfect. That's crazy how they're in step. Get it? Anyways, I'm going to get out of here. I'm out of here. I don't want to get hit by a car behind me. Boom, they're out of my way. Let's go. But the simple fact that he does this, imagine getting rear-ended because the person behind you thought you were going to go. Because you wanted to do a vroom vroom. You wanted to do a little rev bomb. No. Oh, whoa. Checking for poop. All right, so we have this situation where there's not much of context before the incident, but from what I can gather here is that we have obviously an intersection right here where there's a car waiting with a stop sign, and then we also have it to where you can go this way. But why is this car applying the brakes? Why is this car applying the brakes in the middle of a turn? This car is not applying the brakes in the middle of the turn. Why do you think the car's applying the... And I'm talking to you guys like it's a live stream, so if you guys like live stream type stuff where you have full interaction with me, make sure you click that subscribe button. Maybe even click that join button, help support the channel. Clicking that join button really does help out the channel. See if you like it. Anyways, this guy is not applying the brakes because he's going to keep going. This guy's applying the brakes because he's going to either stop, turn, or just stop. That's what he's going to do. So he's going to turn left probably because there's probably an intersection coming up. Oh, there's the intersection. So now I know why he's applying the brakes. It's not because there's an object in his path. He's not applying the brakes because this guy is slowing down. He's not. He's accelerating, or he's just maintaining his speed. This motorcyclist is increasing his speed into a vehicle that has their brake lights on. That doesn't sound very safe or smart. So this should be your clue. This brake lights, or these brake lights right here on the car, should be your clue that you need to start slowing down. He doesn't realize it until you start hearing the tires squeal. Right there. He didn't realize that he had to stop. Now, I don't know if he expected this person and knew this person was turning left, and he was just hoping this person would, get out of his way in time for him to just continue on speeding. But here's the thing, guys, is that this is a hazard, and it's a moving hazard, and it's going to either get closer or further away from you. That's as simple as that. The hazard will get closer to you if it's applying the brakes and you're accelerating towards it, or it's going to get further from you if it's applying the brakes and you're slowing down to pace it. So let's not accelerate into a vehicle that has stopped, because he didn't know, the motorcyclist didn't know about this truck. The reason why this guy decided to fully 100% stop is because in order to make this turn, this truck has to go past him and he has to go around the truck. He's not going to gun it just because you're on his ass. So really, the only escape paths you have in this situation is to straighten up, maybe even turn harder and try to make it through here. But turning left around him is a very dangerous move, but it's the only thing that he could think of at the time, because maybe this guy did want to go. Maybe the truck has a stop sign, we don't know, but he decided to go. and this car driver could have easily turned left in front of him. But what we're going to do is we're going to take what we have here, and I want to emphasize that this is the amount of room you truly need for an escape path. Lane filtering, you just need this little bit. The shoulder, you just need this little bit. Remember, we're a single track tires. We have 2 tires, yeah. We're not like a car. We have 2 in front, 2 in the back. We have 2 tires, but one's in front of the other. So we just need this much room. So if you have to make an escape path, remember, you don't need a full massive lane. You could just use this little bit amount.
Oh!
Oh. Okay, scoot back now. Scoot back now. Okay, so we have an open road. We have 2 semi-trucks, but it's going to gradually turn into a blind turn, okay? So this motorcyclist is in the right lane. He's going to try to pass these people. That's why he's not slowing down, which is perfectly fine if you want to start passing these people. But now we have a vehicle in our path. So now we have to slow down in the middle of a turn. It's a sharp turn, as you can see, because of the chevrons. But why is the truck moving into your path? I don't know. Follow my cursor. Follow the cursor, and boom. The lane is merging. The lane is disappearing. Why we can't get pissed off about this? I don't know what the guy is saying because this camera is attached to the bike itself, but we should have slowed down just a little bit. I'm pretty sure there was a sign back there that said in 1,000 feet lanes are going to be merging, so you're getting that opportunity to see ahead of time. In this situation, slow down so you increase that. Just like that if you had to. So slow down now at this point. This was like, oopsie, close call. So slow down, increase that space cushion, and then start pacing the trucks in front of you until you can pass at a safe time. And that looks like what he's doing. And you see he's merging back over so the motorcyclist can go. So this was a situation where the truck just didn't see the motorcyclist. Okay.
Idiot.
All right, so here we go. We're at a train track crossing, all those things. We have a bunch of cars lined up here. And whenever we think about cars lining up, we always think about the one wanting to take the least path of resistance, which is to get out of the line and make his own path. So you always have to watch out for really long lines of cars because somebody could creep out and get out of that line. And trust me, it's going to happen 90% of the time, all right? Because it works every time. So yep, we're waiting for the, there we go, perfect. Now we're gonna accelerate out of here. I've been waiting for a long time. Yes, let's go. I'm so tired of waiting. Just like every other car. Oh, hazard. Hazard's peeking out. It's a roundabout, so he's supposed to go this way and then around, right? So he's supposed to go like this. He's kind of passing vehicles. A lot of people do this. So this should be a common thing for you. And if it's not common for you, then you haven't been driving or riding around for very long in traffic like this. People make really weird decisions, okay? So what he did, so he must have came in from way over there. So he knew. This motorist knew that there was this roundabout. So he came in from the oncoming traffic portion, which is not good. So luckily this motorcyclist saw him in a big open area, but imagine seeing this car coming down the oncoming traffic to get around all these people and you're going down it. It could get even worse. So he's out of your way. They made a bad decision, but he definitely didn't come from this gap. And I don't think he came from this gap. I think he came in from here. So he might have came in from that gap, decided to go. So this is the motorcyclist's fault. It's 45 miles an hour. It looks a lot like he's going over 45 miles an hour. Possibly wasn't paying attention because look at it, he's reaching up. Where are you at? Wasn't paying attention, went off the road. It's not even that sharp of a turn. It's a pretty gradual turn. Probably wasn't counter steering enough or even doing anything until last second. He crossed the double yellow. Thankfully, the truck saw it and scooted over. So speed was a factor in this one, guys. So slow your roll, boys. Red car, red car, red car, red car. Okay. Cars lined up. Watch out. All right, so first things first, what I see is that this looks like a little bit of a old town, downtown type area, and we have a red car kind of coming out. That's why I said watch out for the red car, because that is the hazard present in that situation. So we have a hazard right now, which is the car. Hazard is the car right here, and he did a head check because he sees this massive line and he wants to get into this open area. So right now the hazard is this, and we just passed the hazard, so we're good. Now we have new hazards, which we have people in this long line. Like I just said, is that people in long lines, they're going to find the path of least resistance, which is going to be in this open lane. Everybody's going to think the same way. I mean, if I was in this line in my car, I'd be like, oh, is there anybody coming? Is there anybody coming? Nope, nope, nope. All right, I'm going to get in this other lane. So you could have done without the horn if you really wanted to, because this guy wants to get out of this traffic anyways. This guy wanted to get out of here and accelerate through anyway. So you honking the horn is not going to make him accelerate faster. It's just going to remove some of your hands and dexterity away from your primary controls, which will help you in an evasive maneuver. That's all the horn does. Honestly, horns are almost useless. It really is. Yep. So this is the same driver. It looks like it's probably like 10 minutes later, but it's jump cut. So we have a long line of people. Now I talked about this in episode 2. Is that one way to kind of gauge if there's any type of gaps is to look at the shade. Now the shade and the way the sun is positioned, the shade is actually going towards the back, but that still kind of helps out because it brings out a little bit. Okay, we have shade here, no shade here. That means there's a gap. Shade here, so there's a gap right here. Typical, you can actually see it. So shade, 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 shade. Looks like a gap right here and even right here, but it looks like there's a gap. They're not really close together, so something might be coming up. We also have a van right here, so you got to watch out for that. So right here, boom, hazard, hazard, hazard. 2 hazards for the price of 1. So maximum speed limit begins. So I wonder what the speed limit was prior to this. That right there, the car comes out. This motorcyclist never moves from lane position 2. So what was if that car creeped out just a little bit? Look, he never moved. This is that standoff. This is that ego and attitude that I cannot stand from motorcyclists or anybody. We're trying to survive here, trying to get from point A to point B. Okay, yeah, they made a mistake. It was a dumb move. These guys let him in too. So are you going to get pissed off at all these people too? Or are you just going to get pissed off at this? You're doing a standoff. You're staring this person down. I'm not moving. You move. It's that bratty attitude. Move over. Don't get close to that. Yeah, you're gonna slow down and have that bratty attitude and do this to him. Once if he's like, screw you, and just taps the gas, boom, bumps you. Once if he did that, of course he's gonna be at fault. Of course he's gonna probably get in trouble. But at that time, is he really thinking that, or is he thinking, oh, you're standing up to me, chest bumped? Yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing? Get out of the road. Oh my gosh. All right, so this is a typical situation. This happens all the time. So we have a white vehicle right here, pacing himself, pacing the driver, the motorcyclist. And this is the same motorcyclist as the one that was getting upset by the other stuff too. Pacing himself, so he's kind of creeping out because this is open, creeping out and waiting for the motorcyclist. I bet you there's probably nobody behind the motorcyclist, so he's pacing himself, waiting for the motorcyclist to go, and then he's going to go across. That happens all the time. Okay, it's a typical thing. I don't even think it's illegal at all to do. Nowhere near him. Nowhere near the motorcyclist. Was not in front of the motorcyclist, so there's a chance for the motorcyclist to T-bone him, and the motorcyclist is going too fast to get T-boned by the Hyundai. And this guy in the white vehicle decided to do this because he knew the motorcyclist was going at a certain speed and judged the fact that he could just creep out and never touch him. But this was a panic by the motorcyclist. And now we have the motorcyclist stopping in the middle of the road. You see how there's nobody behind the motorcyclist? There's nobody there. Now, could the guy have went after the motorcyclist? Yeah. But that's not what happened here. So let's not get upset by that. You need to get some fuel, buddy. Fuel lights on. Whoa. So we have a Harley Sportster of some kind, either 883 or 1200. I remember this. Remember the Speedo here. That's either, I think that's the fuel gauge. I think the check engine light's off to the side a little bit. Anyways, he's probably needs to get some fuel. He's riding at night. Harleys are notorious for having bad illumination. So you see the headlight, it's kind of terrible. And then the brake lights and the running lights are actually kind of bad. So that's why I got custom dynamics upgrades to my bike, made it so much brighter. So make sure you get yourself an LED conversion kit of some kind. Really give yourself that visibility at night. But right here, the van that creeped in did something very wrong. Probably just didn't see the motorcyclist. Once again, unintentional blindness probably played a part in this, and then also the fact that it is at night, so lower visibility. So we got to watch out for that kind of stuff. But he did a good job about not panicking and applying the brakes and dropping the bike. Lane positioning, how could it help in this situation? Possibly be in lane position 3 to protect your lane. But there's really not much. That driver is going to do what he's going to do anyways. And I've never had a situation where being in lane position 3 ever really protected my lane. People either saw me or didn't. There was no like, well, I see him, I don't think I'm going to make it because he's protecting his lane. I've never had that situation, but that's my own anecdotal opinion. So if there's somebody out there that has survived and somebody saw, like another car saw you because you were protecting your lane, please write it in the comments. I'd love to hear about that. This clip's from last year. Well, it's new to me.
So far the bike feels really sturdy, really nice.
Cool. Test ride. Oh, whoa, wee,
I'm an idiot.
All right, so he's coming up to an intersection here. So once again, intersections have been playing a huge role in possible close calls. Hopefully you guys are picking up on that.
The bike feels really sturdy, really nice.
Okay. So it's a blind turn. So you see how it's a blind turn right here? This car has made a decision. You see how he's turning? He's never slowed down. These subtle clues, you'll actually see them while you're driving. So if you're driving, this is what I want you to do the next time you drive or ride. I want you to really pay attention. Actually, do this when you're driving. This is your parking lot practice for your motorcycle. If you're a passenger or if you're driving a car, I want you to start looking at cars and see if you can start predicting their behavior before they even do it. Remember, let's think about what the car is doing. Treat the car and the driver as one and the same. What is the car doing? The car's nose is pointed this way. The car's tires are pointed this way. The car never slowed down. The car typically would slow down to let me go, right? But the car never slowed down. That's so weird. Maybe he's going into this little median. Okay, let's see if he goes into the median. Well, he's never slowing down. He even did an even sharper turn. So now I need to start applying the brakes. Very good. Let's go ahead and move my head out of the way. Very good, man. You're applying the brakes. Good job, good job, good job. Let's go ahead and put me back. Yeah, I feel comfortable there. And yeah, applying the brakes. Progressive brake pressure, didn't apply a lot. He applied the horn. I don't know if that's taught and everywhere else, but I don't use the horn like I said. Applying the brakes, very good. Progressive brake pressure in the middle of a turn. Very difficult maneuver. It's something you learn in the BRC1, which is the beginner class in the MSF. But he's doing a very good job with it. He's actually applying the brakes. So there you go. Let's put me over here. He's applying the brakes very well. And I like that. I really do. Like I said, in the turn, it's a little bit harder because then if you're at a turn, you're applying the brakes, there's a good chance you could dump the bike, but he's doing it very progressively and while straightening up the bike. Love it. Let's put me back. Put me back. So this was a weird one. It almost seems like the car driver just was not paying attention, creeped into his lane, was notified by the horn. So this is like the one time the horn will work. But this also needs to be on us a little bit. Okay, we need to look at our mirrors, we need to look at our things. One thing that we could possibly do is, remember, we want to protect our lane, but we also don't want to bully people from being in a safe spot. Maybe this guy decided to change because he needed to change because it was unsafe for him. We can never really assume or never really know that in that situation when it just happens. So one thing I like to do is be more of a defensive rider and be more of a courteous rider, and that's probably why I don't honk the horn. That's probably why I don't do it. I like to be the courteous driver. So when I see this guy wanting to come into the lane and he made a mistake because I'm right here, so you can see how the motorcyclist is lane position 1, which is right here, and you see the car driver starting to creep in. So you see the car driver starting to creep in a little bit right there. So that right there tells me that he's coming into my lane, so I'm either going to move all the way to the left or slow down. So he didn't even see or execute anything at all until about right here. Okay, that's why he started honking the horn. Typically you would honk the horn way sooner, but he only honked the horn right here. So this is when he saw it and made a decision. This is too late at that point. Apply the brakes, let him in, end of day. It's a shitty situation. Way too fast. Way too fast. Oh! So this is what I'm talking about when it comes to high rate of speed with lane filtering, lane splitting. This is the inappropriate way of doing it. He's going 116 kilometers an hour. It's fast for this situation. It's fast for this situation. We have these hazards right here. Hazard, hazard. Now we have a massive truck. This is actually very dangerous. We don't have escape paths. And this massive truck takes up a massive amount of lane. And you have to start sharing this lane with this car. But you don't know what this car is going to do. This car doesn't see you. This car doesn't know that you're lane filtering because you're going a high rate of speed. And he's probably not looking for a car. So what's happening here is that, yeah, I'm going to use my blinker, because all I'm focused on is the truck. I'm using my blinker, let the truck know. I'm not here to let you know, the motorcyclist. You're going 101 kilometers per hour. Luckily that car decided not to just gun it over to the left. You would have gotten hit, probably ran over by the semi or the truck. That's an interesting speedo. Okay, it's nighttime. Another hazard right there. All right, vehicle turning left in front of you. Okay, saw you at the last second. Very good. But what are you doing? What evasive maneuvers are you doing as a motorcyclist? Okay, this is the one evasive maneuver he did was slow down. So you both slow down and almost stopped. Be like, what are we doing here? So he did good. I like that. Happens. We're going to do the last few just like this. Guys going in your lane, slow down. Are you trying to shoot the gap? In that situation, guys, slow down. Slow down, let them go, and go to the left of him. Evade that situation. You just put yourself that you're going to have to shoot that tiny little gap. What happens if he decided to creep over, and now you have no gap? Roundabout, it's another intersection. Watch out for traffic coming in front of you. Wet road. So I'm assuming that means roundabout, and then yield. But you also have debris in the middle of the turn, so you kind of got to watch out for that. He's got a helmet on his handlebars. I don't know what that's all about. Possibly a motorcycle taxi, or it's for his passenger he's going to pick up. So I don't know if he stalled right there. Looks like this, yeah, same intersection. Another, yep. Whoa, rear tire slide. So he applied a lot of rear brake in that situation and caused that rear tire to slide out from underneath him. Luckily, he didn't drop the bike. This was another close call. A lot of these situations, take these intersections, these roundabouts, as cautious as absolutely possible. You need to be on high alert on every single one of these. And then now that you're out of the intersection, you can kind of go less of an alert. So moderate alert is probably the best one to stay at. That's your default. At no point should you be riding a motorcycle and have zero alert and just everything's fine, everything's beautiful, I don't have to focus on anything. It should never be like that. It should always have to be like that middle tier, middle threat, and then these high threat levels when you hit intersections and curves. Same intersection. I don't know if he keeps going to the same one to find stuff. So once again, it's not always car drivers. It's people. It's crazy out there.
No manches, amigo, ten cuidado, vas con tu esposa. Ten un poco de cuidado, ¿no?
If you're happy, 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 clap your hands, clap your hands. If you're happy, 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 clap your hands.
Beautiful music, close call, line of sight was a problem. If we go back, the bus and everything, and it almost looks like this was a one-way road, possibly, and he was in the wrong, yep, that's a one-way road. He was in the wrong area at the wrong time, so this was one of those things where it wasn't recognized by the motorcyclist because typically that's a one-way road. But having line of sight will help you out with that. Being this close to the bus, you can't see around that bus, can you? Scooting back, increasing that space cushion will make it to where you have better line of sight. So you'll have better line of sight. You'll be able to see that vehicle well ahead of time. There's a vehicle right there. I can see it. Close call right there. I just want to say thank you to everybody that has made this video possible. My YouTube members, my Patreon members, everybody. Guys, remember this video could possibly get demonetized. It's an educational video, YouTube. But just in case they decide that it's not, please, please, please help support the channel by sharing these videos, signing up as a YouTube member, signing up on Patreon. Joining Discord is absolutely free, but it's a great community for all of us, and we get to chit chat and hang out. So if you'd like that kind of stuff, make sure you click that link in the description, beginnermotorcycletips.com. And remember, I have timestamps for everything, so you guys can skip around. Let me know what I can do better on these types of videos. It seems like this is the type of stuff you guys really like, and I want to do better and better and better. So please write in the comments, not the chat that's on the side right now. I see you guys, but the comments in the below. That way I can see and read and comment and respond to you. With that said, I hope you ride safe, be safe, and I'll be seeing you around.